fire department members are working overtime on this, and they're doing a really good job. There's no turn this side. I guess I gotta get closer. So, your fire departments are doing a really wonderful job. They have done extreme work in conditions that are hard to deal with. You kind of all have seen what our fire conditions are. You all know what they are. So bear with us. We do have evacuations that are in areas, we'll talk about that in a minute. But the big issue is we just have lost structures. We haven't lost any structures. Things are going well at this point. All right? I don't know why, but I keep losing the ability to use this. So if everybody can you hear me on the far side? You got me? All right. So right now we're going to have the BLM come up and talk about this and everyone else, but I really want to give a shout out to some of our groups right now. The agencies that you have there are the Yoder Fire Department, Fort Carson, Divide, El Paso County Wildland Fires, Colorado Springs Wildland Fires, Clark County, BLM, Netco Fire Department out of Overland Park, Victor, Colorado Fire Department, Lake George, Federal Partners, Florissant Fire Department, our state resources, Cripple Creek Fire Department, the Genesee Fire Department. So there's a lot of folks up here, right? You probably have 200 personnel down here trying to get ahead of the fire.
Thank you.
They're doing a lot of good work, but I'm going to turn this over to talk about the fire to Matt, and he can kind of give you what the fire is doing right now.
Thank you, Sheriff. Matt Gordon, Assistant Commander for the Hyde Park Fire. At 7:30 this morning at the press briefing, still looking at 1,000 plus acres. Have not got an updated perimeter from the multi-mission grant from the state yet today. Did a lot of great work yesterday with our folks on the ground, both engines, hand crews, dozers, accompanied with all our aviation resources, the 2 heavy air tankers, 2 helicopters, and 2 single engine air tankers, and did put in a lot of great work yesterday. And with that, we're at 10% containment of the fire. I know you'd like to see that number a lot bigger, but we've done a lot of good work specifically on that western portion of the fire from County Road 11, Hyde Park Road, working to the east, have that fairly anchored and secure. So hopefully that number will continue to go up. Our primary concerns now, obviously all of the structures, highs at risk along Clayton Drive, down in the 4 Mile Creek drainage. And yesterday afternoon, on the southeast portion of the fire, we did have the fire jump 4 Mile Creek area established on that side, and made about a 70-acre growth onto the east side of 4 Mile Creek. With that, as I told you this morning, that prompted across our management action point to ensure the additional evacuations that occurred in addition to the ordering of an incident management team. The transition to the in-briefing of that incident management team will occur at 1800 or 6 p.m. This evening at the 4 Mile Fire Station, with the transition to that incident management team to occur at a date and time to be determined. So with that update for today, there's been a lot of great work once again down on the Lakeport Drive area, putting in direct lines, indirect lines around the structures in there, firing out as needed, using the aviation resources. Aviation we have today, we have air attack up over the fire, heavy air tanker, 2 single engine air tankers, 3 helicopters that are in there hammering that stuff today, and really hammering in there on the Lakeport Drive, as well as where the fire came out on the southeast corner and crossed 4 Mile Creek. As most of you know, familiar with that country between Cripple Creek and County Road 11, that's a really gnarly country. in there. So we don't have a straightforward plan right now to attack that, but we're having out with aviation right now so that to buy some time for the incident management team to come in and try to develop a strategy to come up with how we're going to attack that fire.
Let's try to get this to work. So right now, under current evacuations, we have Lakemore, Cripple Creek Ranches, Mount Pisgah, and Lost Borough. Those are the only areas that are in evacuation, right? So evacuation for those areas. Under pre-evac. Hold on just a second. So CCME is under pre-evac. What that was yesterday was a west side of CME, right? We made a mistake on when it went out. There is no west side of CCME. If you have no CCME, it's just CCME. So Cripple Creek Mountain Estates is under pre-evac only, and that was corrected right afterwards. Riley Mountain area, that's on pre-evacuation. On Monarch Drive, Lost Canyon, and Alpine Vale. That is what is under pre-evacuation. Why do we push it under pre-evacuation? We set up what's called trigger points for those locations that we believe the fire gets to, that there's enough time and enough safety to get you out. What we don't want to do is try to do evacuations at night. Because you're going to notice here in a little bit, you'll start seeing more plume and smoke. It's because the winds are going to pick up, right? So fire needs to move a little bit more. That air assets are doing a really good job of hitting those areas, but like Matt said, the problem is you're not going to get a lot of firefighters down in that area to try to come on. It's just very unsafe. And there's just a lot of terrain, a lot of unmitigated area. So that's why those areas are under pre-evacuation, right? Understand this, pre-evacuation means you need to be prepared to leave when we notify you, all right? If you can move stuff out ahead of time, do so. Go ahead and start setting up where you're going to go and what you're going to do, and those pieces of medications that you need, have them preloaded so that it's quicker to get out. Make sure you have enough fuel to get your vehicle out. All those types of things, just have stations ready to go. That's what pre-evacuation means. It means at any given time we may notify you and need you to start getting out, right? Cripple Creek Mountain Estates is a much bigger subdivision than a lot of the other subdivisions in the county. In fact, it's larger than the city of Cripple Creek for people. It's a big subdivision. It's going to take more time to get out. We want to do it safely because we don't want people to panic, so we give you the time to do so. All right? You're going to receive, more than likely, and we'll kind of explain how you need to get set up for that, a notification that comes off of Everbridge. That notification, you have to have your cell phones turned on so that you accept alerts. So make sure your cell phones are set to alerts, all right? Down here at the bottom of the stairs, we have evacuation placards. For those of you that are in pre-evac areas, please grab one, put those on your doors, give us good general information you've already evac. So when the deputy rolls up, he doesn't have to take the time to get out of the car or walk into the house. He can just say, oh, it's got an evacuation piece on it, right? Secondly, there's a flyer down here that talks about the peak alert system. The old Mikesell system that we had has been bought out by a company called Everbridge. Everbridge now, you need to sign up on peakalerts.org. You can find that on our website, Teller County Sheriff's Office. You can find that on our Facebook piece for the Teller County Sheriff's Office Facebook post, or Twitter. Go to that, sign up for that so you get the alerts. We need to do that. What used to occur is we had the other system, and it would alert everybody in the county. So everybody would get something to say there's a fire in the county, right? Well, the problem is there's only so much data that can go through those lines. And what was occurring was those people in the evacuation zones may have an hour wait to get a notification that they have to evacuate because you're last on the list from where it's sent. So to increase the ability to get you out in time, get you the alerts, it only targets the alert area that we're trying to hit. Okay? That way you get those so much faster. So on top of that, be watching the Teller County Sheriff's Office Facebook page, be watching our Twitter, be watching your local newscasts, and be watching the website for Teller County Sheriff's Office and Teller County government. The reason being is we're going to be populating that with all the information also. if you're a ham radio operator and you're using ham radio and you don't want any of the other stuff, we're also putting alerts out on that as well. Okay, so there's a whole lot of different ways you can get the information, but know you've got to get signed up for it and you need to be watching those sites. Everybody good on that? So I'm going to answer that for you too, okay? There are people that don't have any of those things, right? We will send deputies to your addresses also. So you're going to have a deputy, if it's an evacuation, coming to your door saying, hey, you need to evacuate now, okay? So I don't just rely on technology, because guess what always fails when I need it the most? We all know. How many people tried to make a cell phone last week? Right? So we get that. So we're going to send those people out. They're already scouting the roads in Cripple Creek Mountain States, making sure they know the roads and the addresses. Don't take that when they're coming to evacuate you, okay? We're doing that so we get people to understand the roadways. Because I'm using a lot of volunteers also, all right? As you're leaving your subdivision, you're probably going to see somebody that's going to start blocking that road. We're not going to allow you back in. Now, I'll tell you, I've had a lot of residents, what happens is they say, hey, I'm not leaving. I don't see the fire. I don't think it's coming. If you do that, we're going to leave, right? And if I have to send a deputy back in for you later to say, hey, the fire's coming, it puts my people at risk also. Because a lot of these areas that you live in are one way in, one way out. We may not have time to come back and tell you, all right? And what tends to happen is, I know some people know more than we do, okay? But I'm going to be real blunt. You don't. That's why we trigger it. That's why we do those things. And if it's in the middle of the night and you're not awake, you're not going to see it coming. So please, listen to our requests to leave when we give them to you, okay? Other than that, that's how the evacuations are going to work. That's the information you're going to receive, and that's how that's going to operate. Just a minute, I'll take questions afterwards, but I just want to get the information out first. I won't leave today until your questions are answered, okay? So you're going to be able to ask a whole bunch of questions with all of us so that you get the information you need. Right now we have about 120 homes already evacuated. All right? We've got about total with the pre-evacuation and evacuation, it's about 580 homes that are in those areas. That's a lot of homes. That's almost right around $300,000 worth of homes. So, I'm sorry, million. I forgot where I live. So there's a lot of value in there, and it's a lot of your property, there's a lot of sentimental value. And nobody understands. That's why they're working so hard to make sure we don't have losses. Okay? Our first fire is always going to be firemen. And you. That's our base, because we cannot replace that. Homes are next. And really, when tree burns, it's going to burn. All right? But these guys are doing a wonderful job. Sorry about that. That's my wife. So, the other piece of that is you're going to find these flyers in there. This is what you need to look at for the peak alerts. Okay? This gives you all the information on it. You can pick it up. It's right down here. There's a whole bunch of other information there. Please grab it. Okay? Also, I want to give a shout out to a couple local companies that have really done great work that helps out. One's Verizon. They stopped by and brought us a cell booster trailer. That's how we have communication out there to be able to talk and work resources and do all those things. And if it wasn't for that free trailer, we'd be in a world of hurt. Okay, there's not a lot of communication out there, as you probably well know. Secondly, Teller Wi-Fi last night, because we weren't getting enough bandwidth to get stuff out to you. They ended up going up there about 11 o'clock at night and repositioning some point-to-point communication, and then going down there and setting up the fire station to make sure that we had that communication. So a couple of companies that are local here that have really done a good job for us. So I just want to say thank you to that. Our volunteer organizations in the county, a lot of you are going to ask me, hey, how do I volunteer? How do I get involved? So I'm going to give you how to do that. I need you to get involved before the issues, right? So I have a whole lot. Check with your local fire department. See if you can be a part of that organization to help with that. Second is reserves for the sheriff's office. Our volunteers are out there doing it for free. Search and rescue for the county. Great organization. They need your help too. The posse is another one that we utilize out there. And then our CART team, which is a large animal rescue. So I'm going to talk about that also. Those organizations could use your help if you want to volunteer, but you've got to get a hold of them ahead of time and volunteer. So we have to vet everyone that gets into that, because I don't want someone in your area that may be the problem later on. Okay? So we make sure we vet everyone. If you want to donate, you can take any donations to the Teller County Sheriff's Office. We ask that it's still in its original wrappers. We can't take baked products just because of the world we live in today. All right? But if you want to drop stuff off, you can there. All right? Lose my train of thought. Dan? Yeah, so the CART. So the CART program is moving animals out of those areas. So large animals, contact the sheriff's office, who will get you in touch with the animal folks that can help you with those things. Okay? So if you have cats, animals that are still left behind at your homes you have evacuated, I'm going to have someone here standing where you can talk to try to get you back into the Cripple Creek ranchettes to get that, or medications, or those types of things. What I ask is, though, is you be prepared to do it very quickly, because we're only going to take you in one at a time. While it's safe, to grab those items and get back out of there. So you're going to see Professor Walters, he's in the back of the room with a notepad at the end of this. And please get with him so we can get you back in there. If we can do it safely, we'll get you in. All right? That way we can get you out right away. Right now, we moved the evacuation zone to Woodland Park. That's where the evacuees that need a place to evacuate to are being asked to go. It's the Woodland Park High School. You can check in there, and they have resources there for you. The animals are being located on private properties that we're maintaining and working with those landowners for. Okay? What I'd like to do is turn this over to Dan Williams real quick and let him give you a talk about what he's doing with the county resources and the governor's office, and then I'll take it back up and we'll ask questions and I'll get you some answers. Okay?
Okay, we're going to be okay. You can tear up. And we tear up because your county commissioners have one role. By the way, as Eric Stone, they were all crying help. Let's get it up. We signed an emergency order. We went forward. We've been forward deployed for 3 days. So you know we're kind of hands-on board of county commissioners, and this is what we do. We're co-located with the team and just talked to you. We've had a dream for a while since we took over 14 months ago. We need to bring this county back together after the pandemic that ripped us apart. We don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, gay or straight. I don't care. This is our home. You're my friends and neighbors. I live 4 miles from here too. So that's what you got out there. You got people laying down fire. You got firefighters fighting to save this house while every house is behind. So it's Herculean. You know, we've got Keith Berger for the BLM. You've got state and federal responses. You've got all of our adjacent counties. You've got Pikes Peak Regional Hospital. They're here in the crowd right now. You've got our gaming. Everybody's coming together. And so you feel really, really good that we're going to save this place. We're going to save our home and our lifestyle. What we talked about, Jason talked about over Washington last night when we had the urgent evacuation, you know, people are getting, they have minutes. And so what we'd ask you to do is listen to Jason, listen to these messages. When they come out, stop and think, because what we're doing is we're forgetting our CPAP machines, we're forgetting our oxygen machines, our cell phones, our hearing aids, and that's important. I will tell you, we have some capacity. When you finally get down to Woodland Park, we'll help you. We've got mental health resources out there, our public health is out there. Eric Stone, our county commissioners are at 6 o'clock this morning talking to folks that left Lost Bureau. So you've got a great thing. And remember that thing, we're trying to bring us together. So what did Jason just tell you? That we've got, this cats and dogs, right? You've got people from this part of the county now sleeping in Woodland Park. You've got your pets and horses sleeping in Divide. And that's what we take to get this country together. And I'm proud to tell you, as our governor called me at 11 o'clock last night at the house, and he said, Jared, or Dan, this is Jared, what do you need? Here's what I know. And I want to thank Meredith and some of our team from the state, because we're vetted, and that reporting is so important. He had a great operational picture of what we were doing and said, what do you need? I haven't seen that since combat. You know, the general calls the colonel and says, what do you need? And suddenly we're seeing big things, and Matt's had a wonderful time. And suddenly we get a 3rd helicopter today, we get a jumbo jet size thing, so we got everything. There's some competition with the Durango fire, there's other hot spots. Steve vectored those things to us. I too. And it's going to be okay when we get through it. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Keith Berger from BLM. He's our federal department manager.
Thanks, Dan. I'll keep it real brief. I know you got a lot of questions for Jason, and want to get to that really quick. A couple of things I will just highlight really quickly. Matt gave you a good rundown on the fire activity, and those kind of things. I would just like to add to that. From my perspective, we see a lot of fire, a lot of different places, but the level of coordination and cooperation, planning, and input from this community has been really impressive. Your local fire departments working really hard, man, the lines out there. Your county officials, elected officials are really super engaged. And I'll just tell you that that's the kind of cooperation and coordination that it takes to fight a fire these days. So your folks are doing it right. You guys are doing it all right. We appreciate the support that folks can put it out. And I'll just say that you guys have set a really high bar for what working with the community looks like. So we really appreciate that. I will be real upfront with you. You know, this is a complicated incident. It will stay complicated for a while. We're not out of the woods yet. We're bringing in a bunch more resources, big incident management team, and that will really facilitate a lot of things. Brings a lot of firepower, horsepower that to bring to bear at this incident. The one thing we will start to see is more resources coming through town, engines, tankers, those kind of things coming through town. So we would just really ask you to be patient with that. We know that's an inconvenience, it can be a hassle. But understand that our goal too is to get these guys in here, get the work done, get them out just as quickly as possible. So we're looking forward to that. I just want to say thank you again for all the support you guys have put out. Thank you.
One last thing before I kick into question and answers is we're working also with the Cripple Creek Police Department, the Woodland Park Police Department. You've got a great chief up here who is helping us manage a lot of this stuff up here. And just know that all these cities are working well together. Everybody's doing what they can throughout the county. So it's really a whole county response to your area. And that's a big deal. What I want to do is open up some question and answer, and I'll please raise your hand. Don't just word out, and I'll point at you and ask you to tell me what you need. Yes, sir.
I had to go crack. I had to get really back to that. My neighbor called, let them know that you need to get here. And if I didn't have my record, I wouldn't be able to get better.
Okay, so what he's saying is he did not get that notification at first. So what I would ask is just confirm to the speed alert system that you were on that system, and that
Yeah, I gotta, you know, like I gotta get the phone, I gotta, you know, I gotta get another, you know, that requires a computer, but I didn't get the feedback.
okay. And again, technology. So you're watching all those things. And I understand, and I'll get back to that. But what I'm saying is, you really gotta be cognizant, right, of what's going on. And I understand that you didn't, but you would have gotten that, at least your neighbors. And that's one of the things too. You have a calling tree within your neighborhoods. I know because we put those into effect a few years ago, asking your subdivisions to put everybody on this. And you need to watch your neighbors too, right? So the big thing is to make sure that you're working with your neighbors and your subdivisions and your areas that have those contacts. Okay? Yes, Ann?
Okay, first thing, we're not getting the alert.
And where do you live at?
We live in Cripple Creek High State. Yesterday, Cripple Creek branches, they were shut down at no alert. And then when we got to city limits, the people standing next to us got the alert, and they live in town.
Okay, so
They're getting nothing.
what you may want to do, right, so what you may want to do is grab one of these peak alert flyers and just make sure you're on that system. And again, I'm telling you, it's communication, right? I couldn't tell you why they didn't get one, we'll look into it. So what I'd like you to do is, again, give them to Renee Bunting and give her your address, and we'll figure out why. But make sure your phones are set to accept alerts, because if they're not, you won't get an alert. And make sure that you're on this system or you're on Cripple Creek system, so that we can make sure, because each city and county are a different system per se. Okay? So if you sign up for their peak alert system, you may not get our peak alert system in the county. So just make sure that you have the right ones. And I understand that that's clunky, but that's kind of what we're dealing with, right? It's technologies and new technologies on how those informations are pushed. Yes, sir.
Yeah, how far are we into Cripple Creek is the fire exactly, or that's you can predict, and what's your
You know, I'll tell you, from the fire, the closest point of the fire to the Cripple Creek branch, that's about 1.8 miles. Okay? That's kind of line of sight. That doesn't mean it's going to cover that quickly. It doesn't mean that it's not going to change course and go somewhere else. So to tell you, hey, this is how close it is or not, all I can tell you is that it triggered the Cripple Creek branch test. We're not expecting to evacuate Cripple Creek. Okay? You have a lot of defensible space around Cripple Creek. There's not a whole lot of trees coming into town, right? It's really those outlying areas that we're most worried about. What are you going to experience in Cripple Creek with the fire? I'm not saying you can't be evacuated, but what I'm saying is it's very defensible. The other side, you have a great fire department, right? And I know we set up a whole lot of assets also from Colorado Springs and different areas for structure protection, and a lot of good resources are going to your area to help you with those things. So we are cognizant of all that. Just know that if you receive an alert or contacted or you're watching the media and you're seeing those things, we tend to, as soon as the release on Everbridge is going out, you're also seeing it hit our Facebook page, you're seeing it hit the websites, you're seeing it hit news channels and algorithms. That stuff's going out at the same time. So that's what I'm saying. Watch everything you can. If you know you're in one of those areas that you're kind of nervous about, watch everything you can. And sometimes it won't hit something and it'll hit something else, so you gotta be cognizant. Okay? Does that answer your question? All right. Next question? Yes, sir.
Yeah, we live in private home, Mason, and I don't get phone service until 9 o'clock in the morning. When I'm telling Wi-Fi, so we have to be, they close, when they go to all 5G, they shut off the internet. So I get no service.
Okay, so
Wi-Fi, for some reason, I don't know, something. Third night, it's only like, the 9 in the morning.
okay, you're on pre-evac, right? So what? Well, that's something for yeah. Believe me, if I could put a bug in Verizon here to do another tower, I would. But the one thing you need to know is that please give your address to Renee Hunty on the map. Make sure that we have it on our mapping. A deputy won't come to your house. All right, we're going to do a whole lot of different methods to get people out of there. And usually, we're the last ones out. Right? So we'll go through and make sure that we are the last ones out of those subdivisions.
We had a fellow from Animal Control came out this morning.
Oh, good.
He talked to us. He talked to his information. He filled out that contact.
Yeah, so what they say is Park County Animal Control has already gone up to him and helped him with animals. So what that means is that they already know where you're at. You will have a deputy come to your door if there's evacuation. Okay? Next question? Yes, ma'am? They're right there. Right?
Wrong.
Yeah.
By the time you figure out where some people are, right, Mr. Brett? By the time you figure out some of us where we are, it may be difficult, but if you guys can be so gentle as to do something like that, phone service, interesting,
Yeah. And man, let me kind of So I love the equipment. It makes me feel good. But here, understand something. So I grew up probably a stone's throw away from where you're talking. All right? So I grew up with it down by that tree, and I don't mind on the right-hand side of the road. Okay? So just understand, most of the deputies in the county, that's what we do. That's why I search and rescue run around down there. Right? I know a lot of your addresses are going to come off South 567 or 4 Mile Road, or, maybe like Cripple Creek Mountain States, but it's not even Cripple Creek Mountain States. We know that, okay? So just know, you're going to have deputies all over that area. I've got people already pre-staged. I got people running down through those roads. I want them to be able to get that information to you, okay? So we'll do that. Yes, ma'am. Will they jump the fences? I don't jump fences anymore, but I will tell you, if you would, for the pre-evacuation time period, don't lock your gates. Because here's what happens. If it happens at night, I got to evacuate you. If we don't know the codes, we cut the locks. Right? So leave them unlocked if you can, for the time being, if you're home. Right? Once you leave, put the evacuation sticker up there, and we got it. But just so that we know. Okay? Any questions down here? Yes, sir.
Are you able to say what event or trigger would prompt an evacuation of Cripple Creek Mountain State?
Yeah. So we have triggers that are pre-selected on the map to give us the adequate amount of time to get to you. And that's done by the incident management team, myself, all kinds of folks. We also look at manpower issues, what that takes. There's just a whole lot of science goes into it, right? Sometimes that science is us going, yeah, you got a feeling this is how it's going to be, right? To give us enough time. That's how those triggers are. Now, for me to tell you, it's at the intersection. No, some of these are just points on the map, right? It's a knoll or a saddle or a ridge that we know. So that's how we kind of look at those things. There's a lot of thought put into it, though. Yes,
Do you know what started it yet?
I can't release any details.
Oh, okay.
Just because it's under investigation.
Sure.
I'm going to tell you, we haven't experienced any other starts. So if you're thinking arson, I can't confirm it, but we're not seeing that right now. Okay? Because that's one of my big concerns also. Yes, ma'am.
It's on my mind, but I know somebody else's mind.
I'm sure it is.
We move the evacuation site to Woodland Park. My concern is not everybody gets South County can get to Woodland Park.
Sure. And let me answer that for you, okay? Because you're right. There was a lot of thought put in that. Here's one of the reasons. When the call comes out, where does it go to? You guys get flooded with it. The problem is that for folks that may be evacuated, we may have issues with our respiratory and other things. If we move it to Woodland Park, there's more resources, there's a hospital, there's better ways to feed people. The other side is staffing it, right? To get somebody up here to staff this is difficult because we have to staff it 24 hours a day. One of the other sides is that when you're dealing with fire, there's an evacuation zone next to it. We don't want to put it in an area that has that evacuation kind of area. Now, if you're having issues getting down there, let us know so that we can work with you. Also work with your Aspen Mine Centers. We'll talk to them, let them know what's going on, and see if you can get you some assistance, okay? But there's a reason why we moved it. Basically, we have to. Yes, ma'am.
Is there a plan to reach out to the other people that are not here? There are a lot of people that don't know about this because of the notifications that are so sketchy. So is there a plan to tell people how to get on the bridge that are not here?
So that's actually online on our Facebook. It's on the Delaware County website. It's on all those things now. Well, let me explain something real quick. For those that don't have, call them. I need you to help and assist in getting all those folks because quite honestly, there's no way for us to reach out to everybody that doesn't have anything for us to reach out to. I can't go door to door and go, hey, I need you to sign up for a bridge. We just can't have that personnel. I need you as neighbors, family, friends to try to get people to sign up for that. Yes, ma'am.
Possibility, you know, on the exploration always.
Is that possible? Can you get that done? On how to get on the Everbridge system?
I can do that, yeah.
See? Like that.
I'm in the preparation of last week. I don't do that. I can do some stuff, but
And then what you can do also is, I think, Diane, don't you have it on your side also? Yeah. And here's something, we've been doing this for months. We've been putting this out at community meetings, fire safety meetings. We've been putting this out on all kinds of different stuff. You just have to be watching for that. The time to be prepared for a fire is not during the fire. It's months in advance, okay? So please, grab these flyers, they're right here. Drop them off to your neighbors. Make copies. Do whatever you need to do to help those neighbors. Yes, ma'am. And
Everybody gets it because not everybody knows it.
yeah,
That would be easy, everybody.
and that's a great idea now, right? Problem is, you're right. I wish I'd thought of that a month ago. Okay? Right. That's why you make big bucks. That's why I'm on the hot seat, right? But what I'm saying is, yes, you're right. But we didn't do that because we didn't. So what she's saying is why didn't we do a flyer to every mailbox and kind of let everybody know what this is? It's not something we thought about doing, right? And I guess that's on me. I didn't think about sending out flyers, right? This has been not a recent change, but recently come up. We actually have a group called E911. That's our organization that buys that and it gives it to us to go to our dispatch centers, and that's how that's done. It's usually pushed out through them, through us, but you know, how many people think of aliens anymore unless you're political, right? We're running for election, so I'm sure you do a lot of that too. But we will work on that. But right now, we didn't do it yet. Next question. Yes, sir.
What's the outlook for today for the elements?
Well, it's red flag day. We don't know what wind they're going to do other than they're going to move northwest.
This morning, so the forecast was today for today was 10 to lower to mid 70s. Again, winds were initially northwest until about 10 o'clock this morning, increasing to about 15 to 20 out of the west. Again, breezy conditions, hence the red flag warning once again today. Then that wind subsiding somewhat tonight. Looking at northwest winds again tomorrow. I don't know if there's fire will watch tomorrow, but enough winds also come out of the south tomorrow afternoon. Significantly decreased from what had happened, windy conditions we've seen already in the spring. But we do have a shift tomorrow. The other issue we have is the continued dry condition we have. We're looking at relative humidities in single digits, low teens. So that's still going to be an issue, but it looks like we're ready to win after today.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I am the GM for Mountain Mutual Water Company that serves Cripple Creek Mountain States. I can help you. I know the roads like the back of my head. And I know this whole time I know this is the big now. I know all that stuff.
And thank you. I think we've got a pretty good handle on that, but thank you so much. We'll be, yeah, I know. That's who I know those too. Yeah. Any other questions on this side? See them. Yes, sir. Okay.
Any plans to open any kind of investigation or inquiry into communications? You've heard about the stories about people who have cell phone service, United is 1,200 development. And the reason it's usually cited is the century when it says, oh, the county won't let us trench this dirt road. Now it's going to be actually with concrete. And, just a fire is about $60 million a year. Universal service funds, building restructuring,
Right, Mark, that's a great question, and I'm Eric Stone, for those of you who don't know me. Increasing communications capabilities within the county is something that the county is working on. Actually, in the last 3 weeks, I've been to 2 meetings with Colorado Broadband office, also with PPACG, which is the high-speed area council of governments. There's going to be some significant money that's coming from the federal government as part of this IIJA, is that the basically the Infrastructure Reinvestment Act. We're working with the local ISPs for them to be able to push broadband even further into the county in places it's never existed before. This will probably happen over the next 2 to 3 years. No, Woodland Park has broadband. Actually, this is specifically money for underserved areas, specifically rural underserved areas. So that money will not be going to Woodland Park. That money will be coming to Cripple Creek. I actually had a discussion just the other day, and I don't want to get into the weeds, but with Vero Broadband, for example, who bought all of Peak Internet's properties, they actually are going to be pushing the broadband line fiber all the way down to Cripple Creek. It's actually already started, but there's a lot of companies out there. Verizon Broadband, I was in a meeting with lots of these different, actually every ISP that's operational in the county right now. We're there. They're very excited about the opportunity to be able to tap into some of these funds. We're going to be supporting them in that because they're going to need county support, and it's going to improve for the future. Not going to help us today, but there are things in the works. There's still private property rights. People still have to be able to, to have access, and we're going to work with them on that. CORE is another organization that's involved in that as well, because they are willing to allow these companies to hang their fiber or their lines along with theirs, as long as it can handle weight. So that's part of it as well. So we are working on that. Thanks, Mark.
All right, any other questions on this side of the room? Yes, sir. I don't know. And here's the thing, I lied to you. I said, I think by 2 o'clock. I don't know. Really, yeah, it's out of the question. We just don't know. I couldn't give you a time. It's unfortunate. I wish I could. I wish I could get you all back home, because then guess what? I'm not getting home. But unfortunately, not only anybody's doing home the next 2 days. Okay? I agree. And here's the thing. It's something you have to understand too, is that I wish we could change it also. I wish everybody had broadband. We live in a rural area, right? I'll be honest. So my commanders have boosters in their cars. I don't have a booster in my car, and I'm telling you, I have a hard time in a lot of areas up here. It's the environment we live in, right? And unfortunately, it is the way it is with the services. It's what we deal with, where we live in. What I'm telling you, you've got to find a way. There's nobody that's going to be able to help you right now except for yourselves to get that information. Unfortunately, I wish I could do something about it. But I need your help too. Yes, sir. Okay. Yeah, so what you need to do is go see Wes over there. We ask that you be able to get it quickly, you get out of there. But if it's safe, we're going to get you back into it. Okay? But bear with us, because I have one deputy takes you back in, one deputy takes you out. Okay? And then you take too long, then the deputy's not getting other people and get yourself real quick. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think the fact we understand we're not going to do so we're going to do relocation tonight or reverse evacuation on the safety.
Yes. So what will happen is we come up with a plan for re-entry, right? And that plan is in the communications on how to get a hold of you and those types. That's where these door flyers also come in handy. Because we weren't able to get a hold of you because we can't find any information on you, or the information that's on there is not correct with your taxes or however else we're trying to get a hold of you, or the reverse. On that evacuation form, and have that information. Okay? No, but have it, you drop off to us. Also. Yeah, if you got the notice, you'll get a reverse notice that says, hey, you're being allowed back in. Okay, or, hey, this is where you need to meet to allow you back in. And it may come in stages, because that stage may be, hey, this area we can't let you back into, and it may come as an overall, hey, you can get back into this area. The one thing we ask, though, what we'll probably do is have a deputy let you in, as long as you have good proper ID, say, hey, I live here, because what we don't want to do is allow people in to just say, hey, I live back here, I need a big screen TV on, I'll go back in, right? I don't want that. You don't want that. So we try to do it very orderly to get you back in, okay? And then we'll kind of hold those areas too, so you can settle back in, make sure everything's good. All right? One last question? All right, I'm good. So anyways, I just want to say thank you so very much for all your support and your bearing with us. And then if you need anything, please let us know. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.